Okay, good morning, everybody. I am going to go over the Chapter 8, Section 1, Worksheet number 2 with you today. So let's begin. All you had to do was go through and identify, is it a polynomial, and then list how many terms and how many degrees this has. So the first one, is that a polynomial? The answer is yes, that is a polynomial. How many terms does it have? It has 2 terms. And the degree of the entire polynomial, remember, the degree is the powers, the highest number of powers added up within the term. In this case, the highest power we have is 2. The next one, if you look here, this is a polynomial. The answer is yes. How many terms does it have? It has 3 terms, as you can see. 1, 2, 3 separate terms there. Now, the last thing is, what is the degree? If you notice right here on the A, there's a square on the A. If you also notice that's A to the first, B to the first. If you added those 2 firsts up, that would also give you 2. So both of those have a degree of 2. So the highest degree of any of the terms is 2. So the degree of the entire polynomial is 2. The next one, is this the polynomial? Believe it or not, it is. There is only 1 term, however, and it does not have a power for a variable. So therefore, it is 0. The next one after this is not a polynomial. The reason why it fails to be a polynomial, whoops, I didn't circle that very well, but is this -2 right there. If you have an expression that has a negative power, that excludes it from being a polynomial. So the number of terms would be 2, and the degree, we're going to scratch that because it's not a polynomial. The next one, is this a polynomial? And the answer is yes. The number of terms, it has 2 terms. 2 terms. Now, what is the degree? Well, this one's a little tricky because if you look here, this is y to the first right there. This is x to the first, y to the first, though. So if you look at this first, just the first term right there, the x has a power of 1, the y has a power of 1, so when you add those up, you get 2. So that means because this term that I underlined has a combined power of 2, that is going to be the degree of the entire expression, 2. Next one after that, is this a polynomial? The answer is yes. How many terms? It has 3 terms. And the degree of this, the highest power, is 3. Next one, is this a polynomial? Once again, it is a polynomial. The number of terms, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. And then the degree is a tricky one here, again, because none of the exponents have a power bigger than 1. But what you have to look is within each of the terms. Like if you look at this first term, the a is to the first power, the b is to the first, the c is to the first. Now in this second term, the b is to the first, and this third term, a and c, are both to the first power. So there's a lot of first powers floating around there. Now what you have to do is count up the total amount of powers within each individual term. In this case, the first term has 3. When you add 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3, and that's going to be the highest one. So the degree of the polynomial is 3. All right, moving on to the next one. This is a polynomial. Whoops, I erased something. Sorry about that. This is a polynomial. And how many terms does it have? It has 2 terms, and the highest power is 5. Next one. This is very similar to the -9. Even though it's just a number, yes, it's a polynomial. It has 1 term, and the degree is 0. So anytime you have a number by itself with no variable, the degree is going to be 0. The next one is tricky because you might say, well, that 2's on the bottom. That's one of the things that you told us makes it not a polynomial. And that would be true if what was on the bottom was a letter. But because it's a number, that isn't a big deal. It's actually okay because that's the same as having 1/2 b squared minus 5. And so what you can see is that is a polynomial. the number of terms is 2, and the highest power is also 2. The next one is a polynomial. It has 3 terms, and the highest power is 2. The next one after that is also a polynomial. It has 2 terms. There's a term right here and a term right here. But if you look at the powers on the m, it's m2 and then n to the 6th. Here it's n to the first, m to the first, n to the first. Now those two added up is 2, so that's not the highest power. But if you add these two up right here, 2 plus 6, that gives us 8. So what that means is the degree of this polynomial is actually 8. All right, moving on. The next one, hopefully you got this one, is no. And the reason why it's no is there is a C on the bottom. There is not allowed to be variables, or there are not allowed to be variables on the bottoms of fractions in order for things to be polynomials. So this is not a polynomial. There is only one term, but there is no degree because it's not a polynomial. Moving to the next one, you can see the C is to the first, D to the first, C is the first here, and this is D to the third right there. So that's going to be our highest power. Is this a polynomial? The answer is yes. How many terms does it have? It has 3. And the power, the highest power within each of the terms, is going to be 3. The last one is a polynomial. There is one term, and the power of this is y to the first, so the degree is 1. All right, guys. Hope you're doing well. Take care.